right, good evening, everyone. Grab your seats, mute your phones. Welcome to NewTech. Pleasure to have you all here tonight. I'm Brian Kelly, your monthly host. Woo! I can't believe you guys have. I'm impressed that there's this big of a crowd for December. Is everyone just like in town for Ann Arbor for the holidays?
We love you, Brian.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. So yeah, we got another 5 great pitches tonight, so you're all in for a treat. Who has been here for the first time? First timers. Right on. Yep, pretty consistent about every time, about 50%. Welcome. If you haven't been here before, another show of hands that's always interesting is who is hiring right now at their company or their startup or looking for co-founder. All right, who's maybe thinking about changing a job or looking? Okay, so see, you already are in the right place to connect with some interesting people in town. We have been running this meetup since 2009. We've been over 100 meetups, over 300 companies have pitched. 6,000 members in this year. I thought it'd be fun to look at 2017. So every month we've had 5 pitches, so 60 pitches in 2017, which I think is awesome. Round of applause to everybody out there. And that's 57 companies, so only 3 companies presented twice. Or three companies presented twice, but all the other ones were unique. So there's a lot going on in Southeast Michigan. We also had 3 themed months, for those who remember, 2 accelerators, actually 3 accelerators. Tech Arb, which is local here in Ann Arbor. It's an undergrad student accelerator. Desai, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about tonight, Desai Accelerator. And Venture for America, which is Detroit-based. We've had Techstars Mobility come out here before. We try to bridge the Detroit, Ann Arbor scene, there's definitely 2 different groups, 2 different ecosystems, but we try to get them out here. Let's see, so why does this meetup exist? Why is it important? So 8 years ago when Doug Zong and co were one of a dozen or so entrepreneurs here in town, they said, hey, this is great that we can meet up casually, or we all know how to get a hold of each other, but it's so easy to go heads down into your business, venture, whatever you're doing, and forget that you have access to an amazing community here. And so he said, let's do this the 3rd week every Tuesday, or 3rd Tuesday of every month. Let's get together and have a format where we have some companies pitch, support each other in those pitches, but also just meet somebody interesting in town. I'm still amazed that I'll meet several people here that I didn't, no idea, somebody represented from West Coast company coming back to Ann Arbor. So it's, if you do nothing else other than enjoy the pitches tonight, make sure you meet somebody, exchange numbers, and stay in touch with them more than just tonight. We have a couple groups where you can also connect with people online. I'd recommend going to madena2.com. And if you go to madena2.com/Slack, you can get into our group Slack. We have about 300 or 400 members in that. Other announcements. Thank you to a bunch of different people who helped put this together. I'm just one of the organizers. There's a bunch of us who just volunteer our time. I've been working in startups in Ann Arbor since 2012. I moved out here, joined Duo Security, and get my own company up off the ground now this year. This is really exciting. But there's a bunch of us that curate all the speakers and make sure that we have help to put this together every month. The Entrepreneurship Clinic at the U of M Law School, this is where we are, as you probably figured out. Dana Thompson is the founding director of Michigan's Law Entrepreneurship Clinic. Startups, if you need legal advice and you don't have much money, you can get advice from student lawyers, but I believe they also have actual people who are attorneys in the state of Michigan to help you out. But if you need IP help, incorporation help, talk to me if you want to connect with somebody. But I think if you just look up Entrepreneurship Clinic, if you're incorporated in Michigan, you get free help. It's kind of like the dental school. You can get inexpensive dental care from dental students. I've never done that, but I've thought about it. A2 Geeks, nonprofit dedicated to making Southeast Michigan and Ann Arbor a great place for geeks and creatives to live, work, and play. Woo! Woo! There we go. Roger Rayle, Roger down here on the video every month. Yes. Consistent. You search A2NewTech, one word, on YouTube, you will see all of definitely every presentation from this year and many years past are up online.
What was that again?
A2NewTech, so that's like our hashtag and like single string that you can search for. A2NewTech. So yeah, I mentioned Doug Song, Zach Steindler, Scott Goshi, David Bloom. There's a bunch of volunteers that help make this happen every month. If you're ever interested actually in volunteering, you've been coming out to this for a while and you'd like to help curate speakers or potentially even future host. I've been doing this for 2 years, but before that, Zach Steindler was doing it for 3 years. So yeah, it's community run. Ann Arbor Spark. If you don't know what Ann Arbor Spark is, they're committed to bringing together organizations, individuals to help support the growth of companies, creation of jobs. They also give us pizza every month, which will continue this month at Pizza House afterward for anyone who wants to hang around. Our agenda, we'll be out of here by 8 o'clock. 5 companies pitching 5 minutes each, then 5 minutes of audience Q&A. When we do the Q&A portion, if you wouldn't mind standing up, throw your hand up, I'll call on you, stand up. And my only request is that you ask your question in the form of a question. A lot of times people like to give like advice and comments. It's great, but it just doesn't work that well for a back and forth discussion. So send your best question down to the presenter and be as hard on them as you want. That's the fun part. We'll also have time for community announcements afterwards. So if you run a meetup, if you're hiring, shameless plugs all around, whatever you want to announce down here, we all kind of line up and you get to make your announcement out to this crowd, which is a really unique intersection of entrepreneurs, students, investors, developers, people with marketing backgrounds. It's an interesting cross section. I think the common thread here is entrepreneurship. And if you get nothing, another thing I like to take out of this is just demystifying the whole, like, what is entrepreneurship? It's just getting something started, validating that you're solving a problem that's real, and you got a lot of people in here to help you with that. If you know anyone or you want to pitch in the future, email organizers@a2newtech.org. We'll be back, not in this room, we're actually going to be across the street for the next 4 months. I'll send a note out about that, but we're going to be in Hutchins Hall in January. And we've got 3 slots filled, 2 open in that. And we have some fun theme months coming up for the new year as well. I swear I'm almost done. Podcasts. You guys know I like to recommend podcasts every month. I don't know if I've just been busy at the end of this year or what, but I'm just going to give you like a quick roundup of things I've enjoyed this year. So Dissect, the music podcast, New York Times, The Daily, Waking Up, Sam Harris, Nathan Lapka's The Top Entrepreneurs, A16Z, it's Andreessen Horowitz's podcast, Ann Arbor Stories, shout out to the AADL. They have like some really cool, like, didn't know this happened here in Ann Arbor stories on that. Oh, and finally S-Town. I loved S-Town. I'm sure at least a couple other people did. Check all those out. And let's kick it off. So silence your phones, mute, vibrate. If you're going to tweet or social whatever, use the hashtag A2NewTech. And with that, I'm going to welcome Keith Phillips, our first presenter down. Keith is from realLINGUA with our patent-pending language learning method in a web-based mobile-ready platform. realLINGUA gets you speaking a foreign language, the stuff that native speakers actually use every day, from the very first minute of study. Fun fact about our presenter tonight is that he taught French and Spanish at the college level for 20 years before jumping into a startup. So, take it away, Keith.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Hi, everybody. I'm Keith Phillips, founder and CEO of realLINGUA. And realLINGUA is a foreign language learning company with a patent-pending system and method in a dynamic web app. That gets you learning to speak a foreign language, the real stuff that native speakers actually use every day from the very first minute of study. So a while back, I went on a class trip to Spain after taking 3 years of high school Spanish. And when I went to open my mouth and speak the language to anybody that spoke Spanish in Spain, I found I could recite a list of fruit or maybe some things from that page about the hotel and maybe conjugate a verb if I was feeling dangerous. But the reality was what I learned didn't really help me with actual native Spanish speakers. And this was painful. As it turns out, I wasn't alone. So I went on a quest to find a better way. After a couple degrees in language learning and language teaching, 20 years teaching at the college level, I found one. Really, the solution, the better way found me. I ask students all the time during a class break or friends and neighbors at the backyard barbecue about their trips abroad and their language learning stuff, and all excited to get their responses. And they tell me something like, well, I couldn't really seem to say a whole lot. I could remember how to conjugate the verb to drink or ask where the bathroom was, right? So the not so funny thing is that I heard this over and over during a 20-year career. Some serendipitous customer discovery, if you will. So I started realLINGUA by flipping the adult foreign language learning process on its head. Start by exposing the learner, the language learner, to actual language as spoken by actual native speakers. Because as any native speaker anywhere around the planet will attest to, you don't need to recite that list of fruit or conjugate that verb in the verb table or know what a pronoun, a direct object pronoun is to actually use the language. And our research shows that the vast majority of language learners would like to do one thing first and foremost with that language, and that is speak it. So the magic comes in with realLINGUA's patent pending system and method for learning a foreign language. We take the most used stuff in a language. We take that, put it in front of the learner in terms of conversations and activities and spaced repetition, the scientific stuff in linguistics that gets people learning a language, actual language. And the plan is to throw also a chat bot in there, something you can talk to endlessly, even into the wee hours of the morning, and have it correct your grammar gently, right? So the total language learning market, you can see $58 billion. This is classes, apps, books, that sort of thing. The growth of the MAL or mobile assisted market is projected to be almost $15 billion by 2019. Our business model is a mix of online and offline marketing to reach individual customers, yearly and monthly subscriptions, also lifetime buy-in. We've also got enterprise kind of on the brain. And let's see, we've just completed, we're just in the middle of our beta with a functional mock-up on a private white label host. That's going well. A lot of assumptions being validated, which is good. So we're happy about that. Going forward, we're going to be starting in January the build out of our proprietary platform and dynamic web app. And team-wise, it's just me right now. Whole awesome team of advisors. Got engineers and consultants coming out in January. Our language teams as well. But as the saying goes, no I in team. So I'm looking for a CTO. The guy I wanted just started with that other university down the road in East Lansing. So they grabbed him before I was. Thank you very much.
Kick off questions. Right there.
You mentioned a chatbot system to interact with users. Were you thinking of developing it as a, self-learning chatbot based on community response, similar to any of the existing language learning software, or was it going to be solely a back-end learning system?
Yeah, we want it to, the idea is, you know, and I'll say, as I understand it, as I envision it, love the question, by the way, because this is really going to get to the meat of what we want to do, the heart of what we want to do. We want it to be able to learn. We want to integrate, and this is part of our patent application. We want it to integrate that machine learning that we're planning on integrating into the whole system, into the whole method, so that it can be that person that, so I have a good friend from France. When I hang out with him, when I hang out with Stefan, he doesn't want to be my language teacher. He will correct me like once or twice, and after a couple of beers, he's like, you're on your own, just leave me alone. What we want the chatbot is to be that entity that will kind of gently correct you, learns where you're not doing so well with the most used stuff, right, which is what we're going to integrate, and can recycle that back in and then be correcting you. So, question number.
So how many languages are you incorporating? The reason why I'm asking, because I'm a native Croatian, the speaker as well, looking for a job. Please keep me in mind.
Absolutely. So we have we've aggregated all kinds of data, and we have a top 10 list plus English. It turns out English is not in our sights for the U.S. market per se, not right now, but worldwide, English is huge. 1.5 billion learners of English at any given time on the planet right now, nowadays. So we've got content captured for French, real French, content captured for real Spanish, and content captured for real English. That'll allow us to build out in a level, as we talk about it, is 10 modules. Right, and that you could work through that in about 10 hours, 5 at speed if you really wanted to. But it's designed also to let you cycle back through it, right? So you're never really going to get the same experience, the same thing twice. So you can go through it as many times as you want. So we've got our top 10 plus English, and then 20 or 30 more. That's the first 5 years. 20 or 30 more in the next 5 if we can grow at the scale we project. So.
Question down here in front.
Yeah, hi. I'm an ESL teacher, so I understand what you're saying. But my question is how are you building content? Because that's what I try to do every day with my adult learners, is to give them a content, like we did how to build a sandwich, how to wash your clothes, like talk about it. Because those simple words that we all think are simple are not simple when you're learning. So what are your content? You said you had 10 modules?
So, yeah, so as far as I'll speak to content and context. So as far as we're not going to have a module per se, like at the cafe or checking into the hotel, right? So that we feel that's kind of been done. Now that said, we anticipate that customers will say, "Hey, but we want that," and so we're fine with that. We're doing that. What we've done, just to kind of give you a little window into the content capture method, guidelines. Bring our language teams in, hit record 4 hours of conversation. So we can capture in a minute slice, we did this several times, we just took a random minute slice. We can capture a higher percentage of the 1,000 most used words in French in any random minute slice than we can make up in a made up scripted conversation. So what we're attempting to do is kind of eliminate all this stuff, like you don't need to know all the fruit to enter the grocery store. You can learn that. We want to get people speaking, some motivation after that. They're then going to want to keep going. And so that'll be part of our growth. But yeah, I totally get it. I taught French and Spanish, so appreciate the question.
One more question.
Hi, so you said that with the generating content that it would be more of presenting them the information, or presenting them what is most important rather than the stuff that they have to learn. In that case then, is your tool going to be more of a supplementary tool or a standard language software?
Right. So yeah, great question. We've thought a lot about this. Go-to-market will include a low-hanging fruit strategy for us. We anticipate that will mean we can kind of find an entree into the market as a supplement. We don't want to tell people, hey, don't do the yellow box or don't do the little bird on the app, that sort of thing. We don't want to tell people to do that. We want people to do as much foreign language stuff as possible. But you can bring us in as, all right, well, not really learning how to speak, right, with these other things. So let me try realLINGUA.
All right. Thanks so much. Foreign language specialist in the crowd tonight. I like that. Next up, we have David Weiss with MediCrew. So MediCrew is physician-led patient navigation, empowering you with your healthcare decisions.
Thank you. I'm David Weiss, a co-founder from MediCrew, and we are a physician-led patient navigation company with the goal of putting your healthcare decisions in your control. So hopefully nobody's had to experience this, but imagine that you walk into your doctor's office, you're getting the results back from what you thought were just routine tests. As soon as you sit down, you recognize by the tone of the doctor's voice and look on their face what they're about to tell you isn't going to be routine at all, and it's going to forever change your life. A million different things going through your mind. What does it mean to you, your family, your career? What are you going to do now? MediCrew wants to be a company that can help you figure that out and navigate that. One thing you might not realize is how complex the healthcare system has become in the United States. This picture was released when the Affordable Care Act was made law, and it was released by the Joint Economic Commission, which is made up of bipartisan members from the House and the Senate. So patients are in the lower right-hand side, physicians are in the lower left, and you're expected to figure out how to get through this. So what has this complexity led to in healthcare? Medical errors has become the third largest leading cause of death in the United States, and a conservative estimate is 100,000 people. Mayo did a study where they looked at people that came to them for second opinions, and they found that 88% left with either a drastic change to their treatment plan or a new diagnosis altogether. And excessive treatment has grown to $200 billion annually. And who does this impact? In the United States, we have an aging population. Every day, 10,000 people turn 65. And as we age, we utilize the health system more. And the American Medical College Association recognizes that we're currently in a shortage of physicians, and by 2025, that shortage is expected to grow to 130,000. So what can MediCrew do? First of all, above anything else, we are completely allegiant to the patient putting their needs first. So the process that we go through is to gather all of your medical records, any information related to your diagnosis, take that information and then present it back to you with one of our physicians so that you can understand what it means to you and help you make an informed decision that's best for you and your family. We then work with you as an advocate with the decision that you make to implement that plan and coordinate your care and see the care through to completion and consistently following up to make sure that you are satisfied with the decision that you made. A couple of goals from this process that we've been testing since the inception of our company. One is that we reduce that complexity that you saw in the beginning so that you're not stuck in that maze figuring it out. And the second thing is that we can bring value into the healthcare system by reducing costs and improving outcomes compared to national averages for the diagnosis of our clients, and we've unequivocally been able to do that for the clients we've had so far. One thing that people might not realize is a lot of the decisions for their healthcare is made by business decisions. As we see in the healthcare industry, there's consolidation and hospitals are buying up other hospitals, and the way that different groups are incentivized, it's a business decision as opposed to what's in your best interest. MediCrew has no conflicts of interest. We don't get money for referring you to a specific doctor or healthcare system. We are completely independent, putting you first. So how do we make money? 3 models. One is an hourly rate, the second is a fixed price, and then the third is where we primarily want to grow our business, and that's as a service that employers can offer to their employees as a monthly service, like a benefit. And so we have a subscription fee for that. Competition, there's 2 players in this space. One is Best Doctors and other is Grand Rounds. They are very IT focused, where they have a process of gathering your information, putting it through an algorithm, and then spitting out a navigation plan for you. What makes us differentiated is that we have a physician that's working with you to come up with a unique plan to help you make a decision. We have a team that has a lot of experience in the healthcare industry, from physicians to nurses and several advisors in different specialties. And right now we are looking to raise $250,000 to start supporting our infrastructure and operations, so that we can ideally sign with a self-insured company of about 250 lives as a subscription. So at some point in their life, everybody in this room is going to have to make an important decision regarding their health care that could mean life or death, and MediCrew is a company that can help you make that decision.
Terrific pitch. We'd like to kick off questions over here in the side.
So, if an individual is going to use it, would you expect your data to be interfacing with existing EMRs, or is it like a printout, say, and they're going to take it to the hospital and say, well, here's my MediCrew, I should do this? Or
Good question. So we work together all of the electronic health records. So that is a big process in itself. So we've partnered with another company that there's several applications out there that do this, that will go for a fee, will go out and pull all of your information into one place to get it together. What makes us unique is that we then take that information and kind of synthesize it down into what's important, and then help you understand, okay, you go to one doctor appointment, you might end up with 30 pages of stuff. We help you understand, okay, this is what it means to you, and then take that, then help you make a decision from that, and then have a specific set of information that you take to a doctor that you're getting treatment from. Does that help them?
Yeah.
look at Facebook.
Excuse me?
Facebook.
So all of our clients right now are paying for themselves. So we've gotten, to date it's been family and friends and references from there, and they're paying for themselves right now. This is something that's tricky for us because people aren't used to paying for healthcare. We have insurance. If you're employed, you have insurance, and you go to the doctor and kind of expect things to be covered. So that's a tricky area. That's why our ideal growth is in for like a self-employed or self-insured employer that can provide this as a benefit.
It's like in any professional field, there are a whole distribution of quality of experts. Some people go by the book, some people go beyond the book. How can I distinguish, or how can a patient distinguish, and why would we rely on somebody's expertise? Because this is really the crux of the issue in the healthcare right now. Because when you go to a primary care physician, they have insurance guidelines and there is a textbook guidelines, and there is very little time to think beyond actually.
And absolutely, and the doctors have their productivity
and
measures
also their
about,
knowledge.
and their knowledge. So we don't provide any of the care. So we aren't providing care. We're helping you figure out where the best place to get care is. So by using the physicians that we have listed up there, by speaking with people, by using the network, all the physicians that we work with have many years experience. So people that they found that they've worked with, that they've had good experiences with, and helping, and essentially putting it in your control so you can make the decision. That's the best.
What happens to all the information after you gather it all? Because I know you have to get permission to get it from this doctor to this doctor. But so you have all the information on one person. How do we know it's safe? What do you do with it after? Where does it go?
Good question. So everything all the digital information that we have is stored on HIPAA certified methods and transferred with HIPAA certified processes. The application that we've used in the past that will go out and gather people's information is all on HIPAA certified information applications. So that is the absolutely important part.
You have two doctors now, one your PCP and other one is a supporting physician. Who holds the liability when you're getting an opinion? And can I get my insurance to pay for it too?
So I missed the first part of the question.
So when I get a supporting opinion,
Yeah.
or a second opinion,
Yep.
will your doctor hold liability for giving me that opinion?
Yeah, so our doctors don't give any second opinions. We will facilitate you getting a second opinion. So if you come and let's say you have a mole on your skin and one doctor said it's not cancer and you're nervous and want to get a second opinion, we'll facilitate and help you find the doctor that specializes in that specific type of diagnosis. And then to answer the second question is, will insurance pay for it? Ideally, we think that it is something an insurance company would be willing to pay for. We haven't gotten that far in a discussion with them, but ideally if we can reduce cost and reduce the utilization and the excessive treatment, then we believe that they should pay for it.
Final question.
Will you integrate with insurance companies to search within their networks? Or are you just sending users?
Yeah, absolutely. So part of laying that out for people to understand what their options are, if you have criteria that you have insurance that is only, your in-network is here in Southeast Michigan, then we'll help you find that. If you're in-network, if you're limited by what your insurance will pay for, then we'll factor that in as well.
All right. Hopefully you'll hang around afterwards for more
Yeah.
questions. Thanks so much.
All right, projector's going off for this next one. Pleased to welcome Janet Wolforth down to pitch us tonight about her company, Safe Niche Science. The Induction Chamber Evacutator. You can get yourself set up a while if you'd like. Okay, this Induction Chamber Evacutator. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Like evacuate. Makes working with animals safer for people and less stressful for animals. Win-win. So tell us all about it, Janet.
Thank you. My name is Janet Wolforth, and I'm a licensed veterinary technician and a laboratory animal technologist. I've worked with dogs and cats since 1986 and rats and mice since 1996. When performing surgery on rodents, mice and rats became a primary part of my job responsibilities, I became concerned about my exposure to waste anesthetic gas. And that's because every time we anesthetize a mouse or a rat with inhalation anesthetics, we use an induction chamber. So an induction chamber is a box. You put the animal in the box, and then in one side, the anesthetic gas goes in, and the other side, the gas comes out. So traditionally, the gas comes out passively. So as it's filling, it's escaping slowly, and it's collected in an activated charcoal canister where it's absorbed and then it's returned to the room as fresh air. You have to fill this box until the animal goes to sleep. So the box is filled with anesthetic gas. You have to get the animal out to transfer to the surgery table, so you open your box and you pull the animal out, and all that gas escapes into your room. So we've measured over 200 parts per million of waste anesthetic gas coming out of a small chamber like this one. And there's guidelines set by OSHA to the amount of exposure that you're allowed to have during a 24-hour period. Does anybody know that number?
Less than 200 million parts.
Less than 200. It's 2 parts per million. So we use a box like that for a mouse or a rat. They also use a little bit bigger boxes. And in small animal practice, does anyone have a cat? Anyone have a cat that's really difficult to bring into the veterinary clinic? Yeah. So sometimes when they come into the veterinary clinic, they're so hard to handle because they don't give you warnings like dogs do, and they're not as nice as dogs, where I've been almost bit by a dog many times. A cat doesn't warn you, and when they bite, they mean it, right? And their teeth are razor sharp, and they have claws. So occasionally, the veterinarians will bring out a box and put the cat in the chamber, fill the chamber with the anesthetic gas until the cat goes to sleep. Now, the current practice, I'll get my box out here.
Anyone bring a cat along?
So the current practice is to connect the box to their anesthetic system. They put the cat in the box, fill the box with the gas, and then when it's time to get the cat out, they open the box, pull the cat out, slam the box shut, and then run it outside. That's the current practice. And of course, they ask the pregnant women to leave the room because they know it's dangerous. So it has been known to cause spontaneous abortion, kidney problems, liver problems. It does affect the brain. There's been studies that show that it changes the neural pathways in the brain to stimulate addiction to drug and alcohol. So it is a real problem. There are solutions in the research field. There's a little more oversight and regulation of people being exposed to waste anesthetic gases. New anesthetic machines are addressing the problem. There's nothing that I know of that's as portable and as adaptable as what I'm making, and I call it the Induction Chamber Evacuation System. And it's real easy to use because you use it the same way that you currently use your induction chamber, connected to your anesthetic system. But instead of, in small animal practice, they'll connect their scavenging to an in-house scavenging system that's active. So as the current practice, as they're filling the chamber with gas, they're pulling gas out of the chamber. So it takes a long time for the cat to go to sleep. And it's stressful for the animal because they go through a long induction period, a stressful induction period. So the evacuation system pulls the gas out before you open it to make it a safer environment for you, and it's also less stressful for the animal.
I really enjoyed the show and tells part of this tonight. Different size animals too,
Yes.
which is appropriate. Who has some questions for Jen? Sort of in the back.
Yeah, what's the market gap for this area, especially with research funds diminishing from federal agencies and that sort of thing?
So a typical induction chamber like this one on the market is like $400 or $500 just for an induction chamber. So my induction chamber and the evacuation system is $660. So it's a very competitive price to the standards that are out there.
I don't know, does every veterinary have one of those?
Most veterinary clinics do have an induction chamber. During my customer discovery, I would go in and ask them, do you use induction chambers? And a lot of them said no, but half of them had used it that day and hadn't. So they don't like to admit it because it's stressful for the animal. There's this, it's going to be tricky breaking into the market because it's a new product and I'm trying to change the way that they're currently practicing. But hopefully, once they see how it's less stressful for the animal, that's the key for small animal practices.
Where is your machine made?
I make it, I just recently had a manufacturer start making it in Ann Arbor. So I have a small plastics company that makes the box itself, and then I fill and I build the inside, I put it together. And I make these boxes myself at home.
I have a question. How many are being used right now?
I sold 10, 5 of them to the University of Michigan. I am a recognized vendor at the University of Michigan. I've sold some through Veterinary Practice News Journal, Facebook. I was found on Facebook at a random, it wasn't my site or anything, just by talking about it, somebody found me that way. And also through Symposium. I've been vendor at an anesthesia symposium a couple years in a row.
Have you conducted any of the same tests to find out how many parts per million or
Not
they
on
use
the big
yours?
box, I haven't. I haven't on the big box.
What's your next like milestone in business?
Really just to start selling product. I recently had the manufacturing make the box. I'm recently hired a professional photographer and having some professional video done, and I'm going to be launching a new website with those images, and I'm doing some mailings and things like that. So I'm just starting to advertise a little more and more.
I see three. Got my green shirt.
Is there an ongoing revenue from selling filters or something, or is there parts that need to be replaced here?
This is already on the market. I really don't have a disposable. So I think there's enough veterinarians and clinics and researchers out there to fill.
So that's not a part you make, it's just something that's available?
Right, this is something they already have and they get from another supplier.
Do you have any patents, or how do you protect your ideas?
I don't. I've looked into patenting, and it's an idea that's really easy to copy. So sure, I could patent it, but they're going to copy it anyway. So I'm first to market, and I've published on it.
Next question.
Have you approached any university colleges that have veterinary schools?
I have connections at a lot of like MSU and Central and Wayne State, so I'm going to be following those connections and working on making sales that way. Word of mouth.
I have a question. How much is the disposable filter?
I think they're like $8. Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yep. $8 a piece.
More questions? Oh.
Sometimes when you ship a dog or something like that by airplane, you give them something to eat so that they would just be, totally relaxed. But so can we do something like that instead of doing this?
For cats, there is a real push for comfort care for cats, and these especially these anxious. They were once called fractious, now they're called anxious cats. They've developed a lot of pheromones. Comes in a spray bottle, and you spray it on a towel, and you put that in their cage, and that does help cats a lot. Some people are really good at handling cats and can handle a real anxious, fractious cat, but most veterinary clinics will have an induction box in their practice just for those times when they get maybe a feral cat in, or they just no other way they can handle this cat. The other thing with giving an injection to a cat that's anxious, their corticosteroids are up and their temperature's up, and their metabolism is different. So giving an injection to an animal that's really anxious, really fractious, is going to respond differently. The inhalation anesthetics are actually safer.
Not injection, but like some pills that you put it in some food and then they just swallow it.
Yeah, not so easy in a cat.
All right, well, that's all time we have questions. I forgot to share my fun facts about Janet too. That she can train a horse to accept a rider, and she's taught a mouse to walk on a balance beam. So it shouldn't surprise anyone after this. So that's a big thing to show us. So thank you. All right. Next up, we have Mark Halonen from Vora. So Vora is an Android and iOS app that helps people track their fasting activity and share it with their friends. Mark, when did you come to your first UTech? It was last month or the month prior, right?
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah, a couple months ago, and he's like, oh, I got this app, and yeah, I got a couple hundred users and more people signing up every day. So I said, you might, Mark, you should pitch. So this is his side project that you're going to hear about today.
All right, so my name is Mark Halonen. I wrote an app called Vora. It's for tracking intermittent fasting. So basics of intermittent fasting, it's based on the idea that your body is built to be stressed. So in our modern environment, we can sit on our butts all day and have an unlimited supply of food. That's not what our bodies are built for, and we should treat our bodies how what they're built for. So one of those ways is exercise. We go out of our way to consciously exercise. Another way is fasting. I think you should go out of your way to go periods without food. I originally got into fasting to lose weight. Other people do it mostly to lose weight and also for other diseases. So tracking using an app gives yourself a promise. When you hit the button in the app and start a timer, it's actually a surprising psychological effect. So it's psychologically effective, and then over time, if you track all your data, you can see progress, see weight loss, and make measurable changes. You can say, I need to increase my fasting window, and you can see the data to make sure you're actually doing that. So here's the app. When you first download it, there's just no data. You hit the start button, it starts a timer. The bar chart grows towards your target. When you hit your target fast, it sends a notification. You can save your fast, you can enter your weight, and then optionally publish it to your feed. And then over time, you just keep logging your data, and you get your recent fast in a bar chart. So, and then in your feed, you can like and comment on whoever posts. So, and then over time, so this is fasting hours per 7 days. So if you have, over the weeks, you can tell your trends over the weeks. This is a pro feature. This is like advanced analytics. Here's another pro feature. This is your daily patterns. So the dark green is when you're fasting and the light green is eating. This is my data over several months of logging in Vora. So like Mondays is a really tight eating window to make up for the weekend. I ate late on Friday and Saturday night. I ate breakfast on Saturday. So users, there's 68,000 registered users on the app, 33,000 monthly active users. That one's probably the most important because some people only fast like once a month or even less than that. They do like 5-10 day fasts. People are crazy. I don't do that. Also have a Facebook group with 1.4 thousand people. They're active on there. They support each other, ask questions and whatnot. So this is a graph of the user signups over time. I launched it in June of this year. And so it's had good growth. So people have logged, it's cloud-based, so I have all the data, I have all the fasting data, and people have created almost 500,000 fasts for 1,100 years of fasting, and they have lost 32,000 pounds using the weight tracker.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, 6 months, that's amazing.
Well, actually, the weight tracker I only launched that like 3 months ago. So the social part of it is optional. You can just use the tracker and then optionally create a username. 20,000 people log that. 24,000 feed items with 42,000 likes. So there's actually like a community on there, and people get likes on their feed items. Here's a graph of how that's grown over time. So at the beginning, the likes were just kind of one for one, but now they're surpassing the feed items, so people are actually getting some likes on their published fasts. So there's competition on both app stores. On the iOS store, Zero is the #1 app. It's not cloud-based. It looks better than Vora, but Vora has all the advanced analytics, and Vora is the only one with the social aspect. It's the only one on both app stores. Huge thing for confusion is on, there's big fasting Facebook groups, and people ask like, oh, what apps do you use? And they're like, oh, I use Zero. And they're like, I can't find it. That never happens with Vora because I'm on both app stores, unless you have like Windows Phone, but no one does. So it's the only one with the social aspect. You can create custom data, so you can create whatever you want, like waist size, arm size, insulin, blood sugar. Actually just launched that like 3 days ago. But, so monetization, as I said, there's a pro version. It's $5. It's approaching 4 months that the pro has been out. It has $2,000 in revenue. The servers cost $25 a month. So the next steps are to get integration, just more features, notifications, and more social, like hey, someone commented. Play with the pro pricing, I might drop it down to like $2. And then maybe do advertisements. So I'm Mark Halonen, and this is Vora.
I love the data, Mark. It's nice to see people sharing that depth. You're the first hand I saw.
I've already asked a couple questions. Do you have plans to integrate any kind of calorie tracking or otherwise diet tracking so that people can look at calories taken in, calories burned during fast, things like that?
The custom data allows people to kind of do that, but that would take, like, this is a really simple app compared to a lot of, like, MyFitnessPal is far more complex. And I guess with the amount of money it's making right now, I don't plan to make a huge development effort to do that.
Here.
I was looking at the names of the companies pitching, and I just had pulled up your site or in the App Store a few days back, and we were going out with our friends over the weekend, and one of our friends is Jewish, and she was mentioning how her sister around one of the Jewish holidays does a really like serious fast. Do you have like specific like verticals or communities that you think you could market to for maybe like religious purposes?
It hasn't gotten much action from religious people. I don't know if that's part of their religion that they don't want to track it. I guess I haven't tried that part either. But like in the Middle East, it's not popular at all. So.
I have a question right there.
You mentioned that you like to drop down to $2. Why?
Just for kicks. Try it. See what happens.
Why? I mean, if you're
Well, it would get more purchases. It would get more purchases, and then people would like share their graphs, and then it could inspire more purchases. I don't know.
Put it on sale
sure that's a good
instead.
idea.
Don't drop your price permanently. Put it
Yeah,
on
that's
sale.
exactly right.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I don't know.
Nope, keep it 5.
Have you talked with any like social influencers, especially on Instagram, of people who are really interested in fitness?
Yeah, I've tried to direct message a couple people and haven't heard back from them.
Have you thought about like tapping into like the whole biohacking movement? Because like I mean, for example, like the ketogenic diet, a lot of people integrate intermittent fasting with that. Like, for example, I intermittent fast, like I kind of hopped off and on like the keto diet, but like I mean because like that's I think I would assume the primary users of your app to track, like 16 and 8, like do you have any plans to kind of like, okay, the biohacking movement is very much into, okay, like how can I optimize my ketones? How can I, track ketosis, stuff like that?
Yeah, that was the big thing with the custom data feature. There's just way too much people who are tracking, like some people are trying to get rid of diabetes too with it. Some people want to track their ketones. I don't even know what that is. So I just created custom data and then kind of let people create whatever they want, track whatever they want, graph whatever they want, and let it spread with word of mouth.
I think so. A question back, or I had a quick one for you. So, why did you do this, and what do you hope to get out of it personally? This whole app project.
So I've been doing intermittent fasting for 2 years. I originally started to lose weight. I used the Zero app, but it was like buggy. Like the timer would like skip seconds, and it was just driving me nuts. So I wrote my own.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Solve your own scratch your itch. So.
Voracious.
Do you have a question? Yeah. What do you do with data?
I don't know. It's fun to look at. I just every week or something. I have a big Python notebook with all my analytics and stuff, and I graph it over time. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think people lie on there, so I think it's an interesting data set if someone has an idea of something to do with it. But now with custom data, it should be more interesting to see if people are like tracking blood glucose or blood sugar or stuff like that.
It's a pretty specific customer segment for advertising target.
Yeah, so I haven't put advertisements on it yet, but I think they would be effective.
One more question. Another question for Mark.
Sorry, one more for you. Do you have any way to agglomerate all the data that you from custom tracking into, sets, or is it just going to be each person's data? Like if a person uses a capital in their data set?
Yeah, you'd have to like clean it up. Yeah, you'd have to do that.
Have you considered some kind of like a user-fed system where it just has a list of all the things that other users have tracked when you start typing, so that you can?
Yeah, I do that on an individual user level. So if you hit max, you say, for me, I track max deadlift. So when you create new custom data, it says you created 5 previous max deadlift data points. So you'll know if you're like having a consistent keys in your database.
Well, thanks. All right, made it to the final pitch of the evening. This is Brad Wilson. Brad has a company called WriteAbout. Engage students write more. WriteAbout is a classroom writing, community, and publishing platform built by teachers. Fun facts about Brad. He's got a folder in his email called Fails, and he has 87 emails in it. And apparently, everything in life he's been able to connect to either a song lyric and/or a Seinfeld episode. How about that?
Happy Festivus, everybody.
Take it away.
All right. Hey, Ann Arbor. I'm Brad Wilson. I'm the co-founder and CEO of WriteAbout. It's a writing platform for K-12 schools. I want you to think back to your middle school English teacher. Picture yourself back in their class. What was it like when they said it was time for a writing assignment? Well, if you're like me, fun probably isn't the emotion that came rushing back with that memory. Well, students today, just like you, still need to write. They're learning to write and writing to learn. I was a teacher and I experienced how hard it was to teach writing. By the time they came to me in 4th grade, most students disliked writing. They found it hard to get started, the process was difficult, or they were just bored. If we can agree that writing is a core literacy skill required for students to succeed in school and in life, why isn't it easier for schools to eliminate that disengagement? What changed for me in my own classroom was empathy. Once I started looking at writing assignments from the viewpoint of a student, I started giving my kids more choice over their topics. They used multimedia, and we used technology to publish beyond the walls of our classroom. So I grabbed my friend who was a software developer, and we built a platform based on this bold mantra, because we believe that helping kids fall in love with the experience of writing is just as important as helping them fall in love with reading. That's why I carry around my notebook from when I wore some cool 90s neon, and I was a 4th grader myself, because I'm obsessed with that student experience. Now, writing, like a lot of things, is changing quickly. Think about the writing you did today. Texts, emails, social posts, proposals for work. Pretty soon, every student will have a device in school. Last year, more than 20 million Chromebooks were used every week in classrooms. And to get a return on an investment of hardware and infrastructure, schools are quickly shifting their curriculum away from physical towards digital. So what does that look like for writing? Well, we haven't really come much further than Clippy. Yeah, word processing is now cloud-based and there are blogging tools. But those are cumbersome to integrate with curriculum, and honestly, they're boring for kids. Research shows that the 2 biggest factors that motivate student writers are choice and audience. So those come packaged into the experience of WriteAbout. We have thousands of engaging content pages that get kids writing about music or Minecraft or sports or the holidays or whatever in their life will get them practicing their skills from class. So every day on WriteAbout, students like Jackson are writing. They didn't have to wait for a topic to be posted on the board. and they didn't have to use the turn-in tray on their teacher's desk to be a published writer. Think about the communities you geek out in online. You can go and connect with other coders or foodies or startup junkies. Now imagine you're a 6th grader today, and that writing you did in those spaces counted towards your grades in English class. Teachers want to engage their students with online writing, but they need to be able to quickly check in to see what every kid is writing to make sure it's safe, and they need to be able to prove that they are making progress. Now that they can on Write About, students are writing more than they ever had before. This fall we hit about 75,000 monthly active users, and students have written nearly 40 million words on the platform. So in 2nd through 12th grade classrooms from Ann Arbor to Austin, teachers are loving Write About. They're telling their colleagues, all this traction is bootstrapped and almost exclusively from word of mouth growth. So we're small, but we're at this fun inflection point where we get to figure out how to go from product market fit to scale. To reach our vision of impacting 1 million students every week, we need to cross the chasm from paying teachers to paying schools. So we're having conversations with strategic partners, with orgs that have the missions tied back to literacy, and with potential investors for an angel round in early 2018. Literacy is one of society's biggest levers. Kids will always use writing to make sense of their life and the world around them. The next generation will also use writing to change hearts and minds as they solve the world's biggest problems. And Write About has an amazing opportunity to make sure that that experience in school isn't something that we're just dragging kids through. Something that can be empowering and truly give them a voice. I appreciate your time, any feedback, and any connections that you can make to this work. Thank you.
Yeah, we're closing out the year strong with pitches. I love it. Who has a question? Right there.
What is your business model and how are you planning to generate revenue out of it?
Sure, so right now we have revenue from teacher subscriptions, so an individual teacher, so it's really a modified freemium model. They can sign up, experience the platform with their class, and then if they want to have unlimited access, a teacher can pay a subscription of $50 annually, and then a site license for a school is $1,000 for the entire building. Annually.
Yeah, have you reached out to charter schools or Montessori's? I feel like this would be a good tool for that type of a crowd.
Yeah, so we have teacher users from all schools, so right, traditional K-12, charters, public, private. We don't have a specific marketing strategy right now because we're just a really small team towards charters, but I know of some conferences that we'd like to get to next year that are charter oriented.
How many schools are you in now, and how have you found schools and teachers in the past to date?
So the way that we've gotten teacher users is really through social media, just through my own network, from word of mouth, through ed camps, which are like meetups like this of teachers where they're spreading the word of mouth, and we'll send out business cards and stuff like that. And so we have about 21,000 teachers registered across several thousand schools. We have hundreds of paying teachers and hundreds of paying schools.
Yeah, you mentioned strategic partnerships. It seems to me like that would be like a huge area for you. I wonder if you could just talk a little bit more about strategic partnerships and what you guys are looking at.
Yeah, so right now schools buy curriculum products from traditional publishers. So obviously all the textbook companies are getting into the digital space for all sorts of curriculum materials, including literacy. So that's a really big one. There's also other ed tech products that are in our English language arts space that don't have a writing platform, so there's some potential there. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that. I think if we can find the right ones.
Hi, is there a home-based version of this where instead of it being teachers in schools that, like, I have a 3rd grader that struggles with writing, like, this would be great for me to subscribe and give him, the tools and the ideas?
Yeah, we actually do have some homeschool parents that purchase the platform through the homeschool co-op. There's a kind of a distribution model there. As a parent, you could actually go and sign up for a teacher account and have your child be a student, and they would have full access.
So it looked like it was prompts as well as analytics, but you guys are a little bit smaller. What about the people with established connections to school districts nationwide, like publishers and textbooks and that sort of thing? What's to stop them from encroaching this market?
So honestly, that's one of the biggest threats is that, you know, certainly the bigger companies with resources could do that. I think our unfair advantage is that in about 2 years, Right About has, you know, developed a lot of trust in some very niche literacy circles, which are not going to just go and, you know, buy up technology. So the partnerships that we've had, like the Global Read Aloud partnership, for example, where we're an endorsed platform for that, like that's teacher librarians and, you know, teachers who are really geeking out on literacy. And the cool thing right now that's happening in education is with reading, teachers are really starting to change where they're not just handing kids a book based on a level, but based on what a kid is interested in. And writing tends to be about 5 years behind reading as far as funding and as far as trends. And so we're a couple years away where we feel that we're going to have that monopoly on writing, and we're going to be the ones where teachers who are changing their practices to give kids more choice, we're going to be the ones to do it.
One more question. Angela.
Sorry, what about for adults? Like have you thought about venturing out for people that just want to do more writing?
So we're focused on K-12 right now. That's the space that we're really good at. That's where our connections are at. You know, we've had inquiries about higher ed, you know, different type adult learners and things like that. Right now, I would just say that we're trying to stay focused and figure out how we scale in K-12. I think for an existing company that's looking at distribution and sees the technology and maybe they have other markets that they can get into, that's pretty interesting. But right now, we're just going to stay focused on K-12.
All right, thanks. I'm sorry, Brad. Mixing up my names. I hope you guys enjoyed the pitches tonight. We're gonna do community announcements now. So if you have a meetup, if you're plugging a job hiring, I don't know, any kind of announcement really, it's all fair game. You can make a line around the side here. I'm gonna make a quick announcement on behalf of Angela Kajava, who's the managing director at the SCI. If you don't know about it, the SCI Accelerator offers a 16-week program, provides funding between 25 and 50K, mentorship. Applications for their summer 2018 cohort open on February 1, and there's an info session on January 25th. SCI is also looking for a program manager, so this is a job opportunity to manage the day-to-day activities of the accelerator. It's kind of a fun role, right? You get to be like basically, you know, right hand to the managing director of the program, and you know, get to see what an accelerator is all about. So if you've heard of Techstars or Y Combinator, here's one of our local versions here. It's called the SCI. And the program manager will also be an employee of the University of Michigan. So DeSci is sponsored and funded by Michigan/alumni, and they should apply by December 21. I think that's coming up. Day after tomorrow. So search the university's job portal for DeSci Accelerator Program Manager, if that's interest. Yeah. DESAI. I'll write it up on the board. Scott, what do you got?
Hello everyone, my name is Scott Gosi and I got a couple meetups, so I'm going to go fast. Hopefully you can find me afterwards if you need any more information. So, 2 weeks from now, we're going to have an A2 Brew Tech. So if you like A2NewTech but wanted more beer, come to the A2 Brew Tech events. They're on the same page as the A2NewTech page, and we're going to be at Tech Brewery next time, 2 weeks, the day after New Year's, so get rid of that hangover and come drink some more. This Wednesday, we'll be having Coffee House Coders Ann Arbor. So if you want to learn how to code, if you have a startup that you always wanted to build, you were inspired today by what happened, and you want to learn programming, come to our event. It's Ann Arbor Coffee House Coders. And if you're looking for co-working space and you're a startup, the Tech Brewery has a long history of serving startups here in the Ann Arbor community. We'd love to have you as part of our co-working space. Come talk to me or check out techbrewery.org. And I don't know if I'm allowed to take questions, but I'm going to do it anyways. Yes? There's another event happening as well. It might be the end of the month Beer 30 as well at the Tech Brewery. So there's a good amount of events that go on. So talk to me afterwards. So.
Next the brewery part.
Yeah.
A lot of beer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Barbara Bold. I am the communication skills coach. I hang out in this space and take notes on all of the pitches. I did it again this evening. So if anyone would like some feedback on how they pitched this evening, you can come and see me. I'm actually here with some very exciting news this evening. I am finally launching my Pitch Polish workshop series. I had anticipated doing this in the fall and then got hired to teach at University of Michigan, so it got postponed. But I'm going to be launching the series in February at TUSSTAR. For those of you who are not aware of TUSSTAR, they are the new Chinese incubator in town. They're out on Green Road. And the nice thing about them is they have a lovely conference room and parking, which is fantastic. So I will be offering, I have a sheet about the workshop series, but it is 4 half days, which are 4 hours each, in a sequence. So each week there will be a 4-hour session. They build upon each other. So you must sign up for all 4. Every one will include video recording, so you will be video recorded and you will get feedback on your video. You will watch it and receive feedback. There will be content given as well. Both business pitching and investor pitching will be defined. I'm not going to be the person who tells you that your financials are off, but I will tell you how you are delivering your financial information. I concentrate on professional, credible delivery of information. That's really what I do best. That's why it's called Pitch Polish. So if you'd like more information, I do have a few sheets of paper with me this evening. I'd be happy to give you one, or you can feel free to contact me for more information. Thank you.
I've made this announcement before, but this Thursday, the Thursday following the A2NewTech, we have the A2 Game Designers meetup that's over at Spark East in Ypsilanti. We have this one for the holidays. We have this marks our 12th session. We've grown from 0 to 350 members. We've been recognized by the IGDA, International Games Development Association. We're affiliated with the University of Michigan, with Eastern Michigan University, and with Lawrence Tech. We have 4 presenters coming in talking about a variety of different things in the gaming world, not necessarily purely game focused. So we have a VR company that does a shared VR experience. It's over in Briarwood Mall. We have Spellbound, which is an Ann Arbor-based company. We have our friends from Stardock coming. We'll be presenting some of the beta from Star Control. And who am I leaving out, Austin? Who's going to be there? The 4th speaker. Oh, and Gaudium's coming. It's a mobile game development company that launched earlier this year. They were also out of Desai Accelerator. So come over, play a few games, take a look at what we've got going on over there, and we have pizza too.
Hey everyone, I'm Eric Meldrum. Just want to let everyone know about a new meetup that we're starting at the end of January out of the Ann Arbor Spark building. It's called What to Expect When Buying a Home. It's for anybody that's interested in, real estate, that might be looking for a home or is on the fence about buying a house, or knows anybody that is kind of leery about the process. So we'll cover topics in terms of what your pain points are, what you want to know. We'll also have a real estate agent from Keller Williams and a loan officer from Chemical Bank to answer any questions. So hope to see you there. And if you're on the fence about coming, we're going to have free beer and wine and food as well. So thanks.
So I'm not going to have any beer and wine, but I can just introduce myself. As my name is Anita Santa-Ferrar, and I'm just going to very briefly read what my headline says from my resume. I'm very well organized and dynamic and reliable individual with experiences in various client-facing functions, time management, training, and quality assurance. I'm excited to join and help a busy office that encourages teamwork, technology, timely communication, and provides the opportunity for growth and knowledge. That's all. Thank you. And I do have several resumes, so if you're interested, please let me know. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paul Good. I graduated from the University of Michigan back in 2015. I'm here to plug my cannabis product design company. That doesn't mean we're just growing a bunch of pot out in Colorado, but we actually design innovative products for the industry. So we launched our first product, Pen Simple, in September 2016. We were picked up by Now This Weed, got 30 million views across the world, and since then we've sold 12,000 units in over 50 different countries. So we're here to pick up a salesperson and capital. One, salesperson, I'm currently a salesperson, but I'm transitioning into like an operationals role. And two, capital, because what startup isn't looking for money? Thank you.
Hi, Dave Foreman here. I'm with Pillar Technology. We operate The Forge, which is at the corner of 5th and Liberty. Pillar is a company with about 300 people based here, Columbus, and in Des Moines, Iowa. We work mostly with Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, doing software development, helping them figure out what kind of product to build and how to build it with quality software craftsmanship. We are looking for delivery leads, software developers, user experience researchers, and designers. The great thing about working for Pillar is you get a lot of experience doing a lot of different things without getting stuck in one company working on the same thing for 3 years. So if you're interested in that, please come talk to me.
Hey everyone, my name is Carmine Damaro. I'm from Rocket Fiber. We're a gigabit fiber to the home ISP out of Detroit. We're hiring. We're looking for great network engineers and folks to join our network operations center in downtown Detroit. I love my job. I have a great time. We have a lot of fun there. We get a lot of stuff done. We're building a company from the ground up. So if you're interested, you can check us out at rocketfiber.com, apply there, or I will also be around after this. Feel free to find me and we can chat there as well. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Justin Beavers. I'm an angel investor, so if any of you guys are open for talking, I'm interested in startups, founders, whatever. If any other fellow angel investors are here, I'd love to talk to you guys, possibly put together a deal or anything.
Hello, my name is Luca Candela. I'm the head of product at a startup in town. If you have been a product manager for 10 years, then before designer. If you want somebody to poke holes in your business model or like want to show me your app and get some brutal feedback, feel free. I'm coffee operated, mostly to stay sharp, so no cost to you, just to help fellow entrepreneurs. Come find me.
You should do that. That's good free advice if anyone's looking for help. I hope you enjoyed this evening. Thank you everybody for coming out. Just some closing remarks. We'll be at Pizza House. I'll be ordering a bunch of pies. I'm not sure where they're going to have us sit. We forgot to call in advance. I mean, I called like right before I came over here. But there will be people over there, food and drink. We'll cover the pizza. What else? We're going to be across the street in the new year, 120 Hutchins Hall for the next 4 months. I got that email today also. We already have three speakers, or 3 companies, including Groundspeed, a recent venture-funded company in Ann Arbor, SaganWorks, and Diet Suck. 2 more slots. Email organizers at A2NewTech.org if you want to pitch in January or some other time. That's all I got. Thanks for coming out. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Cheers.